Where is he? Okay. Well, I'd like to welcome everyone here. This is a very, very important and historic event to have these great champions here. The International Sports Hall of Fame was started not only about great athletes. This is not only about great athletes, but it is
great
also
mics.
It's about mics that also work. Okay. Here we go. 4 doctorates and I can't work a mic. Okay. This is not only about great athletes and great people, and people have had a tremendous career in their sporting arena, but the International Sports Hall of Fame is also about great people who give back. It's a 501c3. We don't hold any charity raisers. We take no financing. I fund this completely myself. And it's always going to be here at the Arnold Classic forever. We're going to keep it here because this is the best venue. We're also going to keep it in a small room like this so that everyone has a human interaction, because these are all very, very special human beings, because it's not only the amazing things that they have done during their career, but it's also the amazing things they've done after their career. And that's giving back, that mentoring of young children, the caring of others. And you know that these people have really made this part of their life's goal, and they have multiple careers. And that's what's so exciting, to interact with basically icons, legends, and we're all in this room together, and we all have a very long history together as friends, as colleagues, as competitors, and admirers of each other, because we admire each other's capacity and capability, not only as athletes, but also as human beings. And that's what makes this very, very special. And that's the true human interest story, and the true value of being inducted into this into this International Sports Hall of Fame. Now, we're only going to induct a very small amount of people like this each year. So you could be the greatest NFL ball player or NBA ball player. If you're the best basketball player in the world, you only have a chance to get into this once every 5 years. We don't have room for it. So you have represented here a whole array of sports, and not just champions, but champion people. So we're going to start the ceremony now. I'd like to tell you a little bit about what went into developing the logo. I held an international competition with hundreds of artists from around the world, and this was the winning logo. And you see the 10 rings underneath being like a perfect 10 in gymnastics. You have the 5 stars for the 5 continents, the 5 major continents. On the rear are the Royal Olympic wreaths. And so this signifies all sport, but the best of the best of the best, not only in their sporting capacity and capability, but also in their human capacity to give to others. And that is a very, very important part, and that's why all these people are here today. We're going to start with Randy Couture. Randy is truly a remarkable individual. He was the American Mixed Martial Arts champion. He's a Greco-Roman wrestler. He's an actor. He's got the Expendables 2 coming out now, too. He's been very, very busy. He was 3-time UFC heavyweight champion. He was 2-time UFC light heavyweight champion, and interim UFC light heavyweight champion, and was a UFC 13 heavyweight tournament winner. Sarah, let's hear it for Randy. He was the first UFC fighter to have 2 different division heavyweight championships at heavyweight and lightweight, which is really quite remarkable. He holds the most title reigns with 15 title fights. He is one of the first members of the UFC Hall of Fame, and came back to win again to be the oldest holder and champion in the UFC and mixed martial arts. Let's hear it for Randy. Now the next process is interesting, Randy, because you're going to have to wear this. See, I want to see how strong all the athletes really are. So I had this made special. This took a long time. This is handcrafted. It's all coated in 24 karat gold. Randy, congratulations.
Thank you. Obviously, it's a huge honor for me to be included in this group of people here and to be in the inaugural class of the International Sports Hall of Fame. It's surprising, you know, coming from a sport that most people didn't consider a sport not too long ago, and we've come a long way in mixed martial arts. The Ultimate Fighting Championship has done a great job in educating people about what we do as martial artists and athletes. Thank you guys very much for allowing me to be part of this.
Congratulations. Yes, that is a wow. Next person is someone who's a dear old friend of mine who just beams light and smile and just makes everybody feel great around her. Cory Everson. Let's hear it for Cory. See, Cory, I told you I'd get you out of retirement. You're back. You went right into it. The cameras, they went crazy. Terrific. She was not only an outstanding track athlete at University of Wisconsin, but then she said, you know, what else am I going to be great at? So she went into women's bodybuilding in 1980. She won the IFBB Miss Olympia, toppling all competitors, then went on to compete all the way through 1989, winning 6 consecutive times, never defeated. Cory Everson, Miss Olympia 6 times in a row. What makes her unique is she's never lost. And that's a good record, never losing. We like that. She went on to movies. She had a great movie career. In fact, we really enjoyed some of those movies. You did some great roles. And she's a mom. She does all kinds of just terrific, charismatic education on TV with her TV show, a strong interest in helping young children. And let's put our hands together for Cory Everson.
Now you have to wear it.
I would love to. You need any help there? Oh, you help out on me?
All right.
This is, as Randy said, an unbelievable honor. And, you know, again, the sport of bodybuilding to be recognized, you know, in the whole arena of sport. I can hardly believe that it was 35 years ago that as a track athlete, I went on a vacation to California and randomly walked into a gym. 2 guys randomly walked up to me and said, you know, you've really good proportion. You should, when you're done with track and field, try the sport of bodybuilding. Those 2 guys were Arnold Schwarzenegger and Franco Colombo. And I don't even know if he even remembers that, but it meant so much to me. And then 34 years ago, I was fighting for my life, you know, in a hospital for 6 weeks in intensive care with a blood clot, where they were just hours away from amputating my leg. And then to think, 23 years ago, I was standing on stage and getting my 6th Miss Olympia trophy when the doctor said I would never be able to walk normally again. And then today, to be with this group of people that really inspired me and encouraged me and had my back, and all you people from the magazines that always protected me and had my back along the way. I mean, all I can say is God is so good. He is so good, and He definitely has a plan for all of us. And as I kind of look back at my past and my present and look into my future, I know that there's a lot more for me to do. So thank you so very much. I am so honored, and I hope I continue to represent the world of bodybuilding in the best light. Thank you.
next award winner and inductee is a little tiny guy, Mark Henry. Mark Henry was a two-time Olympian, winner of the national and world titles in powerlifting, world record holder in powerlifting. Really, Mark is probably one of the strongest humans ever born on the planet, literally. I mean, in terms of natural, physical capacity, a truly remarkable human being. A lifetime drug-free athlete, and it really runs in the family. His great-uncle Chud was 6'7" and weighed 500 pounds and stayed in the woods. And I don't know what he ate, but he kept his weight up. Mark as well, at 420 pounds. When Mark was 10 years old, he weighed 220 pounds. So the teachers wouldn't let him play with anyone. And I can understand that. In less than a year of competition as a teenager, he held American and junior records, went on to win 4 national championships, a gold medal in the Pan American Games, and by 1996, he received national and international honors, and he was the first winner of the Arnold strongman competition. So there's some real history here. And he is presently the WWE World Champion. And Mark and I had a weightlifting contest when I was visiting by Terry Todd at the museum. We're trying to lift a 350-pound dumbbell, and he beat me. Because it had a diameter like this, so I couldn't even pick it up. That's the only reason you beat me. Mark? You're the only one I'm not worried about putting this on. Actually, this is probably going to look small on you, but I'm sorry. It's not as big as we can get. Oh, man. He's the only one who fits. It was made for him. That was the model age.
Thank you very much. I definitely accept this prestigious honor on behalf of my family, the WWE, Dr. Robert Goldman, affectionately known as Dr. Bob, and from everybody in physical culture, from bodybuilding to weightlifting, gymnastics, and all of the martial arts and everything that's here this weekend. Being the first to win the Arnold Classic set a lot of pressure, but all these guys have lived up to the pressure, and I'm proud to be a strong man, and thank you very much.
The worst bench in the history of strongman.
Mark actually had the biggest totals in powerlifting and weightlifting in history. Okay, well, this next award is really a very personal issue for me. LaLanne and Jack LaLanne. LaLanne came in. This is Jack LaLanne's widow, LaLanne, the wife of the famous icon and the one who taught us everything we know, Jack LaLanne, and she came with us on dance. I really don't have to say anything about Jack, because we all grew up about Jack. I mean, Jack is the reason why we started exercising. It's the reason I started training. It's the reason I went after world records. It's the reason we all do this, things that we do. He was a godfather. He was a true godfather of fitness. Forget the mafia. Jack was a true mafia godfather of fitness. He was also a doctor. Some of you know he was a chiropractor. He was always interested in helping people, all about preventative medicine. And in 1936, he opened his first studio. This was in Oakland, California, paying $45 a month for rent. Now, science has proved Jack right on really everything he talked about in terms of good diet and natural foods and, and exercise and mental attitude. And he was involved, most of the equipment you see in the gyms today, Jack was involved in inventing these things. The leg extension machine, the Smith machine, the first weight selectorized machines, many of the pulley machines, Jack did it all. And you know, I met him when I was, I knew him since I was a little kid because I used to watch him on TV. I met him I used to work for Jack Lane Health Club. I was an instructor. And I met him for the first time. It was one of the most exciting meetings I had, except for meeting Arnold. Those are 2 exciting meetings I've had in my life. And Jack, when he was doing his TV show, which went on for 35 years, who did he meet? Lala. He met LaLanne, his lovely wife of all these years, who was carrying on his legacy. And he would do all these amazing stunts, like towing 70 boats and things of that sort. But the thing about Jack, he always said in his interviews, anything in life is possible, and you can make it happen, and Elaine has continued to make it happen. Elaine.
Oh, wow.
Okay, you can take this home.
Oh, okay.
You may want to put those glasses down.
Okay.
Okay, Elaine, I'm going to put this on you, okay?
All right.
That way you don't have to work out today, Linda.
I'm still strong.
Oh, yes, you
And I still can do a push-up and not a girl's push-up.
Okay,
I can do man push-ups.
You're going to get to do a man push-up right now.
Oh boy, see, I can handle it. I may not be 86 years old. I am 86 years old, but I can still handle this. Okay.
We're going to do our usual.
Let's do this.
Okay.
Like this. Okay. Well, this is really an honor. I'm just delighted. I have a few things to say about Jack and about you. But if Jack were standing here today, he would say, "I'm flattered, and I'm honored, and I'm humbled." He always said I'm humbled when he ever got any award or anything. And he would say that I'm honored to receive this prestigious, I mean, this is prestigious award. And it's the first annual International Hall of Fame award. And he would say, "Thank you from the bottom of my athletic heart." And so right now I say to you, thank you from the bottom of our athletic hearts, because he's up there. You know, on behalf of Jack, and I want to thank you, Dr. Bob, for your innovation, and for your inspiration, and for your dedication, and now you are a sensation. So, he is a sensation. You know, Jack was very passionate about his dedication to fitness, and he wanted to help people to help themselves. And during his 96+ years, he preached the same message that he did in 1936. And when he opened his first physical culture studio, as you just said, and today it was a health spa, it was physical culture in those days. And in those days, they call him a crackpot, and a charlatan, and a nut. And Jack would say, a real filbert. And in high school, of course, he studied, Gray's Anatomy and became a chiropractor later on. But when he was in high school, he had an injury, and they said he'd never walk again, just like you, Cory. And he rehabilitated himself through the things he knew what to do, and that's how the leg extension was born. I met Jack in the 1950s. I was on television in San Francisco. I was on an hour-and-a-half show every day from 4:30 to 6. We had an orchestra, 14-piece orchestra left over from radio. And so we had interviews. I booked all the interviews. I appeared on the show. I was a Girl Friday in those days. Today, I would be a co-host. And Jack began his show on KGO TV, and I swam in the Minneapolis Aqua Follies in 1940s. And I was in pretty good shape, but the 1950s came along, and I was my bust line was sinking into my waistline. My waistline was getting out this way, and I had the washboard look on my legs, and so Jack said, you should be eating apples and bananas and oranges. I wouldn't tell you this. I was smoking cigarettes, and eating bear claws and donuts, and so he said, if I didn't like it, I would tell you. So I went, oh yeah? But he was bring this man over, the very big corporation. He said, I'm going to take 30 pounds off of this man in 30 days. And he did, and I looked at myself, I said, oh my God, the sand, I'm 27 years old, and the sands of time are shifting. So I decided to go and go on eat the right foods and exercise every day, and I changed my life, and we danced at a company party, and we were dancing ever since. But anyway, that was in the 1950s, and of course, this television show, The Rest is History. And he often closed his lectures with, yesterday I was a crackpot, and today I'm an authority. And he closed with singing, and he had an operatic voice, and he used to sing, I believe. And he said, and he did believe. He believed from the bottom of his athletic heart. And he said, he would always say, keep in shape. And I can still hear him saying, anything in life is possible, and you can make it happen. And thank you very, very much.
Now, before I bring up our final award, is Jim Lorimer around? Jim? Here. Jim, can you come up here for a sec? I just want to talk with you a second. Yeah, I know it's a long walk, but I figure you got 200,000 people, 700,000 square feet, we can go just a few extra feet. Jim, I want you up here one piece. Jim, we've had, when we were talking about this Hall of Fame award situation, I said, one day it was going to be your day, but you said, well, I hope it's not posthumously. Well, today's your day. This is a surprise of the event. Jim Lorimer, one of the greatest sports organizers in the world, in history, in our sport, for now all sports, the partnership with you and Arnold. It's a phenomenon what you guys have been able to do. I mean, this is, as you know, it's hard-wired in my calendar. I will fly back from anywhere in the world to make sure I'm here. I never miss this. And I always call you boss anyway. But you have, aside from being, your FBI agent, your career with you're coaching national teams, the work with the President's Council, with Governor Schwarzenegger, and all the amazing things that you've done, you are an amazing guy because you're just, who gives back like you do? I mean, and what you've done for the city, for the country, but for Columbus is quite remarkable. And so we weren't going to wait. I know you're going to go to at least 100, but we weren't going to wait. So Jim? Oh, come on, that's beautiful. I want people to see you, don't worry about me. Jim Lorimer, folks. You're going to have to wear it now. It's not that easy.
This is unfair because you know that I cannot speak extemporaneously.
That's why I did it.
But I do welcome this opportunity on behalf of Arnold and myself to, again, thank Bob Goldwyn, who is just, there's no question about it, one of the leading fitness figures in the world. I mean, his concept now, which is of his own creation, to create the International Sports Hall of Fame, and to implement it the way he has. And look at this, you can hardly stand this. He has just made a tremendous, tremendous contribution to the fitness field throughout his life. And this new concept, the International Sports Fitness Hall of Fame, and the original inductees is just the beginning. As he indicated, we're going to be doing this every year here with this tremendous fitness setting, and we cannot thank Bob Goldwyn enough. We should also mention that many of you saw the installation of Arnold's statue on the Veterans Memorial steps just yesterday. And when we want to decide how we're going to get that statue there, it's an extremely expensive item. Bronze statue, 800 pounds, 8.5 foot tall. And my first thought was, who is likely to contribute it. And I called Dr. Bob Goldman, told him what the huge amount was, and he says, I want to do it. And that shows you when you're there, he steps up. Similarly, we have a sports film festival here, which we have. And he is the major funder of our sports film festival, which has great promise also. So we thank Dr. Bob Goldman for this recognition, but also for his great creativity and what he's doing and being with us. We thank you very much.
You know, it's kind of hard for me to introduce the next person because there's very few people who just remain your idol, even when you're around idols all the time, who are icons and have the ability. And I've said this before, you know, Arnold, there's one person like you born every century, and that's really it. I mean, there's one, and you're it for this century. Except we'll have to go back to maybe the 1800s. I mean, what you have done during your life and your career, the striving for excellence in everything from the very beginning, and be able to come to this country, not even really speaking language, saying, I want to be chairman of the President's Council on Physical Fitness and Sport, and doing it. I want to be a great movie star. And not just being a movie star, but being the most recognizable human on the planet Earth. The drive in business, the drive in sport, to be the greatest bodybuilder in history, winning over and over and over again. Literally anything that you put your mind to, you're the Terminator. I mean, you just do it. You just get it done. And this is to have watched your career over these years, and even more importantly, see what you did after your career, what you've done with Jim, with this championship, and what you've been able to achieve, and the contributions. Arnold was, without question, the greatest chairman of the President's Council on Physical Fitness and Sport. I was there. I mean, I was a special advisor. You just could not believe the energy and the hard work of visiting all 50 states, taking his own private jet, going around, and the meetings. And the most interesting thing for me all the time was when people would come in the room in the council meetings. There were people showing up at council meetings who never went to council meetings. Why? He was there, and these were congressmen, heads of state. Everyone would become a child around Arnold because they want to get their picture taken with him. Now, there's a human charismatic component that only comes around once every century. And he's the guy, and he is contributed so much to all of our lives, and continues to, and inspires us. And anytime I ever want to give up on something, I think of him. And I'll just push harder. I'll push out 3 or 4 more reps, or I'll work harder on a business project, or I'm trying to come up with a new scientific concept, whatever it is. I'll push harder because what would Arnold do? He'd keep doing until it got done. And no matter what it takes, because then one of the phrases that you used when you received the award at the President's Council, you said, of all the awards I've received in my life, this one was definitely the most recent. So this is definitely your most recent award. Governor Schwarzenegger. Now, I hope I can put this on. You can. Oh, okay, great. The governor had injured his shoulder in a movie filming, but he can handle this.
Thank you very much, Bob, for your generosity for giving me this medal. And I'm not going to say it's the most recent, which it is the most recent. But I didn't even know I'm getting this here today. You just told me to come to the ceremony.
Well,
so this is I know, it's a little surprise. Okay, so thank you very much. But I tell you, first of all, I just want to say a few compliments about Bob, because Bob and I, we have been friends for a long time, for decades. And I always have been a big admirer of Bob's work, because he's working on helping people, helping them to be strong, to stay fit, to stay healthy, inspiring them working with athletes that have injuries or that have concerns about various different things and about nutrition. He's an expert in so many different things. And he has been way ahead of everyone else. Now doctors are following his footsteps. So it is really great to have you do all the great work and to be part of the Arnold's Classic. You have been a great, great addition to the Arnold's Classic and all of your help. So let's give him a big hand for the great work. And of course, Jim, my partner, and I, we admire you also because you don't only talk about fitness, you are very fit. I mean, when you look at the DVD, I have a DVD and a video of him performing all those feats of strength and endurance. I mean, you cannot believe, he doesn't look like it. You don't look like it. I mean, it was really a huge surprise to me because he always looks fit. But you would never guess the kind of things that this guy can lift and do. It was really amazing to see that. So I just wanted to know, you're the real thing.
Well, I made the movie up for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I hope there were no special effects in there. But anyway, so congratulations on that. I also want to say that just being in this group, I mean, I couldn't have been in a more incredible group. If you think about Randy, I tell you, the amount of joy that you have brought to me, sitting there and watching those UFC fights, and doing the kind of things that you do, the kind of unbelievable condition. I mean, they have, instead of 3-minute rounds, 5-minute rounds, and then when it comes to the championships, it's 5 rounds of 5 minutes. It is extraordinary, and how tough you have to be to take this kind of a punishment. And he was champion over and over and over, and his style was so entertaining. And it was because I think of him that the ratings are so extraordinary when it comes to the UFC fights. It's really, I mean, they've stolen the show of every other spectator sport, especially of boxing. And you know, we don't choose sports here at the Arnold's Classic. We love all 45 sports that are here. But I tell you, you have brought great entertainment and great joy to me and great inspiration. And also with your movie career. You are now as dedicated, and I can relate to that, you know, when you go into it with that same passion. And you know, we just worked together in the movie Expendables #2 with Sylvester Stallone, and we had a lot of fun. I was only down there for 4 days in Bulgaria, but we had a lot of fun. It was great to work with you. So congratulations, and thank you for the great contributions that you made. Thank you. And of course, Cory, you know, I'm very happy that Franco and I were kind of the first ones to recognize your beauty. I mean, you walked into Gold's gym. I mean, you know, we kind of like, I don't think we could continue pumping up. The only thing that was pumping up was our mouth. Just like our mouth dropped open, and we were just looking at you. You were gorgeous. And then we saw you working out, and we realized that you were a very, very dedicated athlete. You had the discipline and everything. That's why we felt very strongly that if you go and step into bodybuilding, that you could clean house. I mean, that you could win for years to come. And sure enough, that's what you did. And you hooked up with Guida, and it was a great relationship that you had there, and he gave you the necessary promotion. And you started winning those championships, and one after the next, and it was really extraordinary. And you really helped female bodybuilding to be where it is today. So I want to say thank you to you, and also for all the work that you're doing also for the community, not just for yourself and trying to be a champion yourself, but you want everyone else to become a champion. So let's give a big hand to Cory. Mark, first of all, I was insulted when Bob said that you were the strongest human being alive, of any human being. And then I said, why the hell doesn't he not include animals? Because it doesn't make any difference if you say beasts, animals, human beings. You're just the strongest thing in the world, period. I mean, I don't think an elephant will be standing up against you or some other animal. I mean, this is it. You're it. I've seen you lift. I mean, this guy lifted almost 1,000 pounds in a deadlift. Now, I did powerlifting when I grew up in bodybuilding. We did Olympic lifting and powerlifting. So I know what it is like to deadlift. And this guy has lifted, weights that was absolutely extraordinary, and any other exercise that he does with such extraordinary weights. So you really helped the sport of powerlifting to grow very quickly. And I tell you, I included powerlifting in Special Olympics. When my mother-in-law asked me to help with Special Olympics and be a coach, I said I didn't want to just be a coach. I'm going to include powerlifting. And I got that inspiration from you. I included powerlifting, and we talked earlier that none of those sports here were accepted by the general public. If it was, the cage fighting and UFC stuff, or bodybuilding, female bodybuilding, or powerlifting, none of this stuff. Now those things are huge. I tell you an example with powerlifting. When we had the International Games and Special Olympics, there were a few hundred people in this sports event, a few hundred people in this sports event, a few hundred people here. But at the powerlifting championships, there were 5,000 people. The hall was packed for the Special Olympians. And they, of course, have two disciplines, which is the deadlift and the bench press, not the squat, but the deadlift and the bench press. And it is a hugely popular sport. So again, I want to say thank you for the great contributions that you have made. Let's give a big hand to Mark. And LaLanne, first of all, let me just say, we all miss Jack tremendously. But there's no one obviously that misses him more than you. And I know what that must be like for you right now, to come here to the Arnold's Classic and throughout the year not to have this extraordinary human being by your side. I know what my mother went through when my father passed away. And it's a terrible loss, and it is pain and all of those things, and you and I talked about it many times. I also told you that anytime you feel lonely, you want to talk to someone, I'm always there for you. So we just want you to know that we all miss Jack. But we also recognize that you were a true partner. That Jack would have never been where he was. He would have never had the successful TV show that he had. He would have never been able to speak the way he spoke. He learned a lot from you. You were there at every step of the way. You were a great partner. You were someone that inspired him when he was down, someone that helped him write the fitness books and all of these kind of things. And just now when I listened to your speech, it was very clear again, what great leadership did you have and how much of a partner you were to Jack. So let's give a great, great hand to LaLanne for a great contribution. Jim, I've said it many times, the day I won the Mr. World competition here in Columbus, Ohio in 1970, at the Veterans Memorial Auditorium, I was at an all-time high because I beat Sergio Oliva, which was very meaningful to me. He beat me the year before, so it was the time for me to do the same to him as he's done to me. And so I was on the climb in bodybuilding, I remember, and I walked away that day and said to myself, winning this Mr. World contest was the most important thing for my career. This is going to make sure that I'm going to win Mr. Olympia in 2 weeks from now in New York, and on and on and on. But as time went on, I realized that that was not the most important thing that has happened that day. What was the most important thing was to meet Jim Lorimer. I met Jim Lorimer because he was the organizer of the event. And I was so impressed with the event that I said to him, I said, we got to do this together after I retired from bodybuilding. In 1975 I retired. In 1976 we started promoting bodybuilding competitions right here in Columbus, Ohio. But even though we were partners, we never signed an agreement and we've never had an argument about anything for all of these years since 1976. But he has become one of my closest friends and confidants and advisor. Because this man you can ask about anything. About law enforcement, about the FBI, about the judiciary system, about politics, about policy, about community organization, about being a mayor, about being a family man, being a husband, being a fantastic father. It doesn't matter what it is and what advice I needed over these last 42 years. since I met him. I could always go to him. He has been an absolute jewel in my life. So I just want you to know that what a great pleasure it is for you for me to see you get that medal of all the great contributions that you've made for sports and for fitness and for bodybuilding and strength training and all the different sports that are here today. But what great contribution that you've made to me and to make me a better human being. So thank you very much. Thank you all for you. Thank you.
Before all the inductees could stand up, we'll get a group shot here together. If everybody could stand up, we'll get a group shot. Your 2012 inductees into the first class of the International Sports Hall of Fame.
I think we all should do this.
Biceps is not as big as yours.
For Jack.
Don't flex it, that's surgery.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.